So let's start this by saying rest in peace to Quinton McNeil, who died on the 12th of August 2020. He was actually shot in Southeast Atlanta. We know his murderer was, Raekwon Ramsey Waldron, who was 23. And basically, he shot him. They were living together and he shot him. So Quinton at the time, he was like 33. And he got into an argument with Raekwon. And Raekwon shot him. Now, Quinton McNeil is actually the nephew of Marlo Hampton. He's her nephew. Apparently he was a really, happy guy. He was the life of the party. He's, a guy that's always up for fun. And, McNeil previously worked for, Marlo's co-star, Kandi. He worked for her at the Old Lady Gang restaurant, and he had worked there 6 months before he died. Now, the guy who was actually his killer, he had actually met him also at the restaurant. They had became friends at the restaurant, and they had moved in together before this argument occurred. They were friends, they were living together. Now, the problem is that when Quinton died, Kandi Burruss didn't give it any attention. She didn't, send any tweets out. She didn't send flowers. She didn't offer to contribute to the funeral. She didn't attend the funeral. So Kandi, showed what I would call, no care towards, towards the family. Now, Kandi, she's a millionaire, so them flowers would have cost her like nothing. She wouldn't have even seen the money leave her wallet. She wouldn't have even noticed. And it's a fact that, she knew this guy. She had contact with this guy. And to make it worse, she knew he was Marlo's nephew and she still didn't care. Now imagine, let's hope nothing happens to her, but if Kandi had lost her life, people Kandi didn't even know would have poured their hearts out, in sadness. They would have put flowers outside Lady Gang restaurant. They would have been on the internet making tributes to her. They would have been doing the most. And these are people who have never ever met Kandi in their whole entire life. So for Kandi to have met Quinton and not even sent a flower, not even offered to help out funeral costs, and not even have attended the funeral actually says a lot about her. Now, in the latest episode, Marlo and Kandi have got into a bit of an argument about it because Marlo's upset at the fact that Kandi didn't really bother to acknowledge her nephew's death, that Kandi didn't, show any sympathy towards the family. She didn't reach out. The family is upset. Quinton's family is upset because, of course, he worked at her restaurant before and, she could have at least sent her condolences. So Marlo's upset, but Kandi, is very defensive, and instead of admitting she's done the wrong thing, Kandi is out here arguing with Marlo. Why is Kandi upset? Kandi's upset because she doesn't want her restaurant to be tarnished. She doesn't want her restaurant to have a bad reputation. Her restaurant has been linked to other shootings, and Kandi feels like this is just adding to, the bad reputation of her restaurant. And we all know Kandi's main drive in life is just money. It's just money. And, when it comes to money, we've seen it when, Kim didn't pay her part for the, the song that she wrote, and she was crying over money like she was broke. She was crying over money like she was broke. Yeah, she was crying. She was upset. It was the principal. She said it was the principal. She was very upset that Kim did not give her that money. So we know money is the number one factor with her. But, at what point is, it not about money? Is it about, just getting your heart? Why doesn't she just feel sad? Why don't she just want to reach out to the family out of the kindness of her own heart? You see, with us people out here, we give, celebrities so much attention when they pass away. And I can't believe somebody that she met, an employee of hers, has passed away. And Kandi is just chose to take the, the path of just making sure her name is not associated with his death and shooting because she doesn't want any damage to her restaurant. I think, she should have reached out. She could have at least sent her condolences, sent some flowers. And I don't really think it matters whether or not she knows Marlo or not, really and truthfully. I just think it's the right thing to do. Most people would do it in them circumstances. I mean, as I said, when somebody dies, and it's even in the newspaper, there is literally flowers outside from people that have never ever met that person in their life. When someone goes missing, there's people who reach out looking for them and they've never ever met that person in their life. So there's really no excuse for Kandi to have not reached out to the family. I'm glad, Marlo brought this up. Because when I think about the amount of sympathy, the public and, the fans showed her when, you know, Mama Joyce was making her life a living nightmare. The sympathy everyone showed her when her baby father was not paying for his child or giving her child any attention. The sympathy that Kandi's got when different things have happened to her, you know, and to see that she doesn't care when, you know, somebody who worked for her has passed away, says a lot about her as a person. I'm glad, you know, that the public, you know, and the fans get to see this, because it's important that we see what these people are really like when we're out here, you know, as I said, buying their, you know, the stuff they're selling, when we're out here, you know, showing support for them, when we're all out here, you know, sending them happy birthday wishes. You know, it's important that we know who they are, because, you know, when we're buying these people's music, we think we're buying, you know, music from somebody that we, you know, can respect, but it's clearly not always the case. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys on another one.